You're going.
Okay, hi, I'm Ron from Voeller, and today we're going to show you how to adjust the arms and the paddles in the mixer. But before we get to that, I just want to make a point that when you are adjusting the paddles and the arms only, there should be no need to remove the spinner cover. These paddles are very easy to adjust, and the arm itself is very easy to replace. I'm going to give you an example here of how we adjust the paddles. This here's the saddle that is welded to the arm, and what we do when we set these paddles is that we'll level them off to the highest point in this slot, and as the paddle wears, you just keep lowering this down until you reach the end of the slot, and when you get to that point and you cannot maintain a 1/16 of an inch on your floor, well, then it's time to replace the paddle. I just want to make it clear though that when you do replace the paddle, you do not have to take this cover off and go back in and do any adjustments that you'll see in the videos. So when you replace an arm, there's three bolts that come off. You put the new arm on, tighten that all up, and you should be good. You might have a minor adjustment to make with your paddle, but that's something that I showed you up here. You just have to loosen the nuts and adjust the paddle accordingly to how you want it set. But there's no need to go in the spinner and do any adjustments inside the spinner.
Great. Now we're going to show you what it takes inside that spinner. Thanks, Ron.
Okay.
You're on, sir.
Okay. We assume that the spinner cover is off, and at this point this is what your spinner is going to look like. There are two jam nuts. First of all, the first thing you have to do is loosen the jam nuts. It's a 15/16 jam nut. Here's the first one. You can use a socket if you can fit it in there. Sometimes you can't, but loosen the jam nut up first. And there's one in the back here that you probably can't get your socket, so 15/16 wrench. Just loosen that up. Okay, next thing you want to do, there's a screw in the back here that tightens your torsion bar. We want to back that off, free that up a little bit. So I'm going to take I believe it's a 5/8 wrench, and I'm going to loosen that up. Now sometimes you can use a socket if you can get it in there. Sometimes it's too tight, so you'll have to use a wrench. I'll try the socket and back it up. I'm loosening up the torsion tension on it. See, that's loose now. Then my next operation is going to be, there's a set screw, and you'll see that on the instructions, that this is what you use now to lower or raise your arm. It's a 1/4 inch. Stick that in the set screw, and now I'm going to raise the arm, and if you watch the paddle, it should go up. Yeah, I believe you can see it moving now. It's probably a 1/2 inch off the tank now, and you can see it's raising. When you get a new arm in, you want to put the set screw all the way down, flush with the jam nut, because when you put a new arm on, you want to have that in the air, so you can lower it later to adjust it, to make sure you can get it on the journal. So again, it's clockwise to raise it, and then once you get your new arm on, you just go in reverse. You lower it to where you want it set. Normally it's about 1/8 of an inch off the ground. I'm just going to guess here. I normally have a tool that I'll measure, but right about there I'm going to stop. So once you have it set, oh, and one other thing, is make sure that your paddles are all the way up. There's slots back here, so you want to utilize your paddle to the fullest, so that when it starts wearing, you can lower the paddle. As it wears, you can loosen this up and lower the paddle, and you get a lot more use out of the paddle. So anyway,
we have a paddle right over
yes.
here.
This is the paddle, and the slots are on the back of the arm. There's a saddle that it sits in, and you just raise them. You raise them all the way up. These are already set, otherwise I'd show you, but you can see that on your own tank. So you raise them up, tighten it up, get that tight, then you lower it with your set screw. Once that is done, you're good with that location, then you tighten up your jam nut up here. You want to keep that right where you got it, so just tighten up the jam nut. Good and tight, and then retighten your bolt back here, and that when you tighten this torsion bar, that solidifies this arm. You know, right now you can see as I'm kicking it. I don't know if you can see this or not, but it's a little loose. And when you tighten this up, I'll go back to my socket. You'll see that the arm tightens itself. It's good and sturdy at that point. At a torsion bar, you just get it good and snug. You don't have to overkill it. Right about there is good. And then retighten up the jam nut that's back here. And that's a 15/16. That's tight. Jam nut up here is tight. You got your location. The arms now. That thing is good and solid. It's ready to go. Again, it's about 1/8 inch off the ground, off the floor, and you do this on whatever ones you want to adjust, and you should be good.
Thank you, sir.
All right, good to go.